So, have you ever doubted the decisions that you've made? Now, see this particular video, and in this video, it is a very impromptu video. This is a particular thought that I've really had for a while now, essentially just trying to understand what is the right decision you should make in your life. Because a lot of times, we're guided by society, we're guided by friends and family about which direction we should go. And for me, I've always kind of done what other people have told me to do, what my parents have told me, particularly my father, and essentially in the aspect of working hard and whatever that may be. So whatever work I've always took upon myself, I've always tried to work extremely hard in that particular thing. But there's a lot of times when you question some decisions that you make, is this the correct decision? And a lot of times, you start looking at particular aspects of your life and think, well, if I wouldn't have wasted so much time here, I could have progressed over here. And, I started really thinking about it. And this is probably why this video is just so impromptu. I had another idea, I thought I was going to do for this video, but then I changed it last minute just because I had a lot on my mind. I want to kind of get it out there and hope that you may be having the same question, especially since we've had a lot of time to think by ourselves, since we've had a lot of time to sit and ponder these thoughts and ideas because of lockdowns and everything else that's been happening, doing a lot of remote work. So we have a lot of time to sit with ourselves. And being said, in questioning what you are doing and where you should be going. And, you always try to relate it to what is your passion. It's something I've always talked about, finding your passion and finding your flow in life. And not just that, but understand that, you'll make decisions and you're not really sure if that's the decision you should be making. And given the way life is, maybe you have more responsibilities at times. And so you make decisions with some kind of, for me, it's always been you need to make decisions with some sort of risk involved. You want to have a bigger life, bigger lifestyle, whatever that involves. Maybe you want to follow your intuition, which is something I've been really pushing hard over the past couple of years, is really just following my intuition and realizing when you're talking about making choices and following intuition, I've really found that just by following my intuition has led me down a lot of random places that I've never really would have ever guessed that I would enjoy. Because of the fact that, I never thought I would enjoy the stock market. I thought I would never enjoy, well, the biggest thing here is understanding that I've gotten really big into NFTs and doing edits on NFTs. And then after doing edits, I started drawing again. And I used to do edits and stuff like that back when I was in high school. And I used to always love art, but I was always told that you could never really make a living off of art. And even to this day, it's still hard, but with NFTs and everything that's going on, it opens that door a lot bigger than it used to be. It broadens your horizons a lot bigger than it used to be. And so myself, I've really tried to explore this intuition and seeing where it led me and understand, you hear that saying about trust the process. And so I've essentially thoroughly try to trust the process. And there are times when I question that. And so I have to go back and stop the secondary thoughts, secondary thinking about, well, is this really the right thing to do? And really, where should you be going? And, even if you have a destination in mind, you're going to have to realize that it changes in time. We evolved. Your thoughts, ideas, and evolve. And this is why I never really understood why people will say that's not what you said 5 months ago, when in all actuality, right, is realizing that you can come across new information and you realize that maybe your perspective, maybe your beliefs were wrong at one point, but that's not the way you're thinking now. And trying to realize that, yes, I'm trying to come at a rational and ideal perspective when making decisions, but also understand that I need to be following my intuition, because over the past couple of years I've really started doing that, and I've noticed that I've become happier. I've become in a better state of mind, and realize that I have the freedom to do what I want when I want, but also realize that yes, I still have a lot of responsibility. But with that being said, you have to be willing to take some risk in life. If you're not willing to take the risk in life, like you'll never get to you really want to go, or do you even know where that is? Because for me, I've always wanted to be the best version of myself, however that may be. That doesn't mean that I need to sacrifice other things, right? And realize that there is a point in your life where you can't just go with what everybody's saying. And especially nowadays with everything that is going on, there's so much pressure from society to do whatever the thing is, well, whatever the right decision is in society's eyes. But we feel that there's so much pressure there that we can't even do our own thing. And now there's the great recession, right? Or the great movement where everybody is going off and trying to do their own thing. And how great that is to find yourself, because that's really where we need to be at, and not be at a point in our lives where all we do is work 80 hours a week. And if you're not working 60, 80 hours a week, when the work schedule is only 40 hours a week, you realize that you take away from so many other things. And I know work-life balance is important, and a lot of people bring that up. To me, it depends on the work. Like the work I do, it doesn't feel like work. So maybe I do work 60, 80 hours a week, but it doesn't feel like work. I enjoy what I do. So you get in the flow state of doing these things, and you enjoy doing them, and you create some really amazing things. And like I said, starting to do the NFT stuff and tapping back into my artistic side is something I really enjoy doing. And I could do it for hours on end, and I get lost in it, and it doesn't bother me. And I know a lot of people would be like, well, why can you even do that and sit there and perhaps draw, or whatever the case is? And for me, it's relaxing, and it's very nice, but I don't also want to make it a thing to where it's something I have to do. And I think you have to try to aim for that in life. Make it to where it's easy and it's not forced. When you start forcing things, it's not right. Like, I know we all don't want to work. Yes, we have to provide for ourselves and our families, or whatever the case is, but you have to ultimately understand you need to follow your intuition and how you can go about doing that. You realize that a lot of times we only see in black and white, because we're only taught in black and white on specific things. We don't realize there's actually a very big gray area in which you can navigate in. And when you follow your intuition, you start finding that and listening to that. What is that next step? What am I supposed to do next? And trusting that it will take you to where you need to go. And a lot of times you'll be in a lot of uncharted waters. And so you don't really know, is this the right decision or not, until after the fact. And you look back and you say, well, this made perfect sense. And a lot of different times, I've relayed this part of my story before. When my father first passed, I took some time off, and I tried to start Discover Ignite and everything like that. And that being said, I followed my intuition, and for whatever reason, it told me I needed to go back to work. And I did that. And when I started going back to work, it's actually funny because the pandemic had hit a couple months after the fact, which is crazy. It was actually probably a year. I should say it was about a year. I got the job, and then I ended up going back. I got the job, and then I started working for about a year. I got a new house, and then I come to find out, right, the pandemic hit, and life just changed for everybody at that point. But it's funny how everything works out. And I've been really just trying to tune in on my intuition and where it's going, and realizing that I have to trust the process. And even I myself, I have to tell myself this many different times, because a lot of times it doesn't make sense. But you continue to push through and you try to listen to it. And this is why, breathing techniques and meditation and stuff helps you tap into that better, because you need to amplify that. It is there, but you need to understand that if it's not in use, you tend to forget it. And it's not as amplified as it can be. And so I've been doing more of that to help me guide myself into where I should be going. And so, being said, the premise of this video was to just know that what the choices that you make, they have to be choices that you want. They have to be choices that follow or are in line with what you want out of life. And me being 40, I'm like, well, I could be gone tomorrow. And 5 years ago, that was almost the case. And if it wasn't for the dietary changes that I had, I may not be here today. So I don't know if tomorrow I'll wake up, right? You never know. I'm not trying to be morbid or anything, but also ultimately understand that life is about the choices that you make, and you have to be okay with the choices that you make. But it's better to go along with choices that will make you happy, and you never know where they lead. Because now, like just talking about the NFT stuff, like I found a really cool community. Everybody's helping each other out. People do other things for you that you wouldn't typically see in other communities, or I haven't noticed in other communities before, which is very interesting, very intriguing. And it is by following my intuition. And it didn't seem like the right time to do it, but I did it, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm loving it. And I adapt that more into my life. So that's what I think you need to do, is to follow your intuition and see where it leads you. And then when you find where it leads you, to embrace it and bring more of that into your life. You need more of the things that your intuition is telling you to do. Like, I loved art when I was a kid, and I just kind of threw it away throughout all these years. I mean, I practiced it on and off, but now it's brought me back to where I was and doing a lot of different things I did that I wanted to do at one point. So being said, no matter what you do, make sure you're doing more of the things that your intuition is telling you to do, and to enjoy your life to the fullest.